Although Bhutan claims to be GNH and a Buddhist country, she has all the problems and ills of countries that do not boast of such claims. Where are we going wrong, Rinpoche, and why?
We hear this concept of Kali Yuga, like degenerated time. We also hear from some scientists and environmentalists that the earth is on the verge of, being destroyed by us, earth dwellers. All sorts of statistics. I actually don't know which one to believe. As a Buddhist, I can't really believe in fixed destiny, because that is against the Buddhist principle of interdependent arising. Some say that year 2012 is the end of the earth. I think that is a very theistic, especially monotheistic approach. In Buddhism, we don't have concepts such as the original beginning, therefore we don't have also the concept of ultimate end. I can only talk to you as an intellectual. I'll try to give you the answer intellectually. Goal is always a problem, because the goal creates expectation. Goal creates computation. Goal creates sleeplessness. Goal is always a problem. And many times, I dare say, I hope there's no GNH advocates here, but many times I would say, I dare say, GNH is also a goal. And many times we Bhutanists may be suffering because we are trying to live up to this GNH. One thing that is sure is we are alienating ourselves too much. And probably this is something that we could do. And especially a country such as Bhutan, which we supposedly have this tradition and the culture of contemplation. Many of us, we are so proud that we have this Buddha Dharma. And Buddha Dharma, at the end of the day, is a system of contemplation. It is a system of awareness. So, using the techniques such as contemplation, probably we could work with this alienation. And yes, I do really think we have so much problem of alienation. How many channels we have in Bhutan, the television? Cable channels, right? 200? A family might have like 3 or 4 television sets now, the affluent ones. So I'm sure they are all alienating themselves. Wife watching some Hindi soap opera, the son watching some action-packed, the daughter watching this, this Dracula stuff, this vampire stuff. So they all alienate. So I'm sure they don't eat together, do they? They don't eat together, they don't sing together. We Bhutanese, you can still see, it's not like many other countries, we can still see this, but maybe it's in its extinction. We Bhutanese, we used to go to picnic. You see all this picnicking, and then kur and the archery. But even the archery, I think the alienation has crept into the society of archery with all this compound bow and tournaments, and then the marketing and the advertisement, and then But alienation has always been the problem, humankind. But I think it's faster now because it used to take us, in order to alienate somebody in Tashigang from Thimphu, it used to take us at least about 3 days of driving. But now with the Facebook and SMS and texting, and you can alienate somebody instantly. So the alienation is, but this is a gross level of alienation. I think there's much more subtler alienation. And it doesn't help, I have to say, people like me, we have, I'm, this Rinpoche, privileged, respected people, we have so much responsibility. And the Bhutanese, I'm a member of the Bhutanese elite. We the elites, we have a responsibility. I don't know whether we should be really driving big SUV, because it could be cause of a big alienation. You never know, it could be this hidden cause for the drugs and the stabbing and these gangs, all kinds of gangs. Personally, actually, I'm very interested in talking to these gangs. Not for any wholesome reason. Actually, I wanted to write a film. The wealth, as much as we cherish and we put so much emphasis in acquiring the wealth really, really alienates. We in Bhutan, we are good. My friend in Chicago, she died eventually, but before she died, I went to visit her several times. She's quite well off. She owns a lot of buildings, and like her sons and her daughters, they don't come to see her not because they're not compassionate or they don't care. They're just so busy. They're all millionaires. They have to fly here and there so that they will not lose the million, if not make more. The wealth alienates us. Because somehow, ever since, I don't know, maybe it has been almost 50 years now, the definition of wealth has changed. Now, for us, wealth means like ample amount of money in the bank, a car, a flat television, flat screen television, genuine one, of course, right? And that, the definition of this wealth has really alienated ourselves from all sorts of things. Because you see, when you read the ancient wisdom texts, the real wealth is when you know how to say, this is enough, the contentment. I overheard a really good program from BBC. There's a discussion, and this amazing Japanese woman was asked how to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. Yeah, and she was supposed to answer in like 60 seconds, and she said, amazing one actually. She's such a profound answer. She said, at least we should eat at home 3 times a week. That will make you healthy, wealthy, and happy. And it actually is so true. Because when you don't eat, when you eat home, you have a control. So, you cook well and, it's healthy, right? So it's good for your health. And, you don't spend. So the money is inside the wallet. So when you have something, the money is in the wallet, you are happy. Some kind of... The definition of wealth has changed. Things like that. The fact that Bhutan is such an insignificant country, do you know that? It's so insignificant. We Bhutanese think it's so, amazing and all that. Shangri-La, blah, blah, blah. But it's insignificant. Nobody listens to Bhutanese and nobody listens to Bhutan. Who cares what Bhutan thinks? It's so small. And this insignificant, backward, third or the second poorest country, I think those are blessing. I think we should really learn to realize this insignificant aspect of Bhutan is such a gift. We should never be noticed. Therefore, people will actually not, ignore us so that we can live, I don't know, happily forever, but, content and... But a bit too late, though, bit too late. Because you know why? Because we Bhutanese try to tell others, hey, we exist. And people are beginning to notice. People are spending, what, $1,000 a night? Uma? $1,000? I don't know. Is it a good thing? These tourists? All of this. I'm sorry, I can't answer this first question, but I have expressed my feeling. I hope that made you even more confused.
Next question, La. Bureaucrats think compassion is detrimental to building a strong, effective, and accountable civil service. Is it so, La?
Oh, that's easy to answer. I'm trying to answer this, so I will tell you, compassion, at the end of the day, compassion is putting your feet in someone else's shoes, period. Next.
Is there a Buddhist model of democracy and economy? Rinpoche, how would you define a leader?
This is a difficult one. But I must answer this one. Do you know Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, the concept of Kancho Sum? The Sangha, I don't know whether you know this. It is almost safe to tell you that probably Buddhism is one of the first religion, if you like, that promoted the concept of democracy. Because the Sangha, in Sanskrit, Sang, is a community. Very, very important. But of course, Buddhism also realized, like many, intellectuals, democracy is not always, is never the best. It is just happened to be better than many other worse ones. But that is sort of the only and probably the better system that we can since there's many questions, I will try to answer this in a very short. I'm trying to make it short, so therefore it may be not complete. The Buddhist concept of democracy has to be based on two things. Well, the classic term is wisdom and method, right? the wisdom aspect of understanding the democracy in Buddhism. And I'm telling you these things, based on the understanding of the Sangha, the concept of Sangha. In Buddhism, we put so much value in what we call dependent arising. Nothing can stand independently. Everything is dependent. This wisdom is so important to develop the Buddhist democracy, if there is one. From the method side, compassion, one that we discussed earlier, putting your feet inside the shoes of someone else. Together, these two, and together we develop the so-called democracy. Now, of course, I'm interpreting this a little bit. And Buddhist economy, I may be making this up a little bit, but I think I'm quite confident that I'm not wrong. So, Buddhist economy is a very tricky one. Like as many great Buddhist scholars have stated in the past, like Shantideva, Nagarjuna, Aryadeva, so on and so forth, Buddhist economy is, I think we talked about this last time. The purpose of life is to have fun, right? And in order to have the fun, you need money. In order to have money, you need to have a discipline. Otherwise, you can't make money. You know, money just don't grow on the trees. You have to have a discipline, right? I'm talking about the Buddhist economy, by the way. Fun, money, discipline. Last one is very important. None of these ultimately works. That realization you have to have. None of them ultimately works. And when you know that, you are a sound Buddhist economist. And actually, I think this would really help any MBA student. They should know this. It's because the lack of understanding of this, all this credit crunch, the European problem, the American problem, everything happened because of that. Because they never, okay, they're very good. I mean, I don't know how good they are, but they are trying to have fun, a lot of money, quite good, discipline, Harvard, Stanford, all of this, but this, zero. They all think these things work, but none of them worked. Karl Marx failed. Lenin failed. Everybody. Still, world is going through problems. So that's kind of a very short version of, short answer to this big question.
Should we allocate more resources towards spreading the fundamental teachings of Buddhism rather than proliferating religious infrastructure?
You mean should we, the Bhutanese? I don't know. I've been in Sri Lanka this time. I was a little bit disturbed. When you ask a Sinhalese, when you ask them, they will say, he's Christian, she's Muslim, he is Hindu, I'm Sinhalese. What is that? To me, for a Buddhist, it's a little bit embarrassing to hear this. It's almost like one of us Bhutanese would say, oh, he's a Christian, he's Muslim, he's Hindu, I'm a Bhutanese. You understand? We are talking about a religion, we are not talking about nationality here, right? So, I don't know whether when we say we, this big we, should democratic Bhutan, systematically, what was the word? Develop the infrastructure of Buddha Dharma. Because don't forget, and I have to stress this, in the more than 2,500 years of Buddhist history, not even once, I can proudly tell you, yes, there has been a lot of Buddhist individual, violent Buddhist. I myself is one, actually. I can tell you that. But in the name of propagating the Buddha Dharma, there's not even one single incident that involved violence. And violence does not necessarily mean, strapping with a few bombs and, blowing up yourself. But I'm talking about, forcing, we, as a Buddhist, and let's say we, as a majority of the Buddhists, we just cannot even fathom, and we cannot even dream of, like forcing our religion to anything. Otherwise, might as well join a jihad group. I would strongly say Buddhist value, Buddhist wisdom, and Buddhist messages are certainly, probably you will think I'm biased because I'm a Buddhist, but I really think it is certainly very, very, very relevant today, more than ever. In fact, because of this, even the non-traditional Buddhist, traditionally not a Buddhist countries such as Europe, Australia, many in America, they are beginning to many intellectuals, many thinkers, many educators are beginning to look into the Buddhist value. And it's something that we have, and as a Buddhist, I don't think we should lose it, because this can happen. This can happen. I see sometimes many of the younger Bhutanese are beginning to have some interest in Buddhism because all these Chilips are beginning to have some interest in Buddhism. Oh. That's not so good. That's not so good. That's not so good. And we could lose that. And I always say this. I always say this. Like Mahatma Gandhi, what is he known for? He's known for non-violence. But do you know where he got that idea from? Not from Indians. He got it from Tolstoy and Truman, right? Truman. For his Russian and American friends. Did you know that? And do you know where they got the idea from? Indians. So this could happen to you. You could be learning Buddhism from some John, this, Deborah, that, I don't know. This could happen.